Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Good morning. 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 Let's make sure that we're streaming. Hey, Erica Dotson and Mel Christopher and Barbara Burke. Good morning to you. I see that I am live. Please, would you like and share? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Hey. Yes. Dr. Shaniqua Walker Barnes. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, y'all, hey. I don't know why. There we go. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning. Look at all of the people. I don't need to create an event. I just want to create the post. Look at all of the people. Look at all of the people. Good morning, good morning. Hey, Dr. Bobby. It is good to see you. It's good to see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, Carla. Dr. Paula, Renee, hey Monique, hey Eileen, hey Larissa, Leah, Free, Natasha, Antoinette, Yolanda, Tiffany, greetings, greetings, greetings and grand risings, greetings and grand risings to each of you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, 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 good morning. I'm excited, I'm excited. I'm excited. Hello, Noah. Good morning. Hey, Tawana. Yes, come on and let's celebrate. Let's send up some hearts for our sister, Tawana, PhD bound, Cancer Cannot Davis, for turning her dissertation into the hands of her committee. Oh, we celebrate, we celebrate, we celebrate you on today. Yes. Good, 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 good. Congratulations. I just felt that come off my shoulders for you. Good morning. Um, yes, yes, yes. Come on and celebrate our good sis. Let's do it. Ole do it. Yeah. Hey, LaRonda. Hi, Mia. Hey, Tierney. Clara. Assalamu alaikum, Zalika. Good morning. Oh, my gosh. That is just so amazing. Good morning, Carolyn. I just want to sit here for a second and just revel in all of that goodness, all of that release with you, Tawana. Wow. Like, wow, 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 wow. Woo! If you've ever carried a process for a long time, and then, things have attempted to thwart that process, life situations, my shoulder is tight, life situations and medical diagnoses and moves across the country and interruptions, and you now were able to complete a piece of work and to get it into the hands of a committee, meaning that you are extremely close to the finish line extremely, probably with minor revisions, but you are so very close to Juana. So very, very close. And absolutely this Pink Robe Chronicles community, which is also your community, will definitely be holding you up and lifting you up. I'm just too excited. Like, wow, 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 wow. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Pink Robe Chronicles. I'm so glad you're here. Listen, for the past week, for the past 4 weeks, sis, I'm just so excited for you. Wow, that is amazing. For the past 4 weeks, we have got our entire lives, as many of us went through the work of Dr. Velma Love's Divining the Self, and Dr. Love joined us on last week, our final our final move through. She joined us and she was in the comments, and she was commenting back and forth with us. What a beautiful opportunity. And you'll remember that during week 3, I believe it was during week 3. Good morning, Dr. Shaniqua. Good morning, Dr. DeLesselin. Good morning all the reverends, the doctors, the esquires, the misters, the Mrs., the MXs, the folks, FOLX, the women, the men, the non-binary, to everybody, to the pantheon of God's people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And you will, hold on, I'm reading electronically this morning because my book did not arrive, but I'm not mad at it, and I'm still going to continue to shop small and not the mall, which is Amazon, when I can, Ashe. And so I chose to purchase today's book, which is Dr. Shaniqua Walker Barnes' book, who is here with us, who is a part of this community, such an important part of this community. And so I ordered my book from Karis Bookstore in Atlanta because I'm just used to, I know them and I'm used to, and yeah, so I just wanted to shop small and not the mall, Ashe. And so, for those of us, we ended, hold on, I got to get my electronics together. For those of us who've been traveling, I'm sorry, well, let me get this together so I can be ready and not try to, okay, here we go. So thank you for your patience. Hey, Reverend Portia. So for those of you who journey with us through Divining of the Self, you will recall around week 3 or 4 how the Spirit just revealed that we should just continue out the rest of the year choosing sacred texts that have been offered to us, prepared for us by Black women. Ashe. Listen. In our sacred spaces, certainly the biblical text, which has been authorized by the community as being a guide, a assemblage, if that's a word, of contextual stories that reveal God's work in the world, right? And yet, the system of interpretation that is interpreted, by human beings who are influenced and flawed, but who are influenced by the context of their day, and so it is only obvious then that certain types of interpretations are influenced by anti-Black racism, white supremacy, patriarchy, homophobia, heterosexism, militarism, capitalism, and all of the interlocking systems of oppression, most visible, as Patricia Hill Collins would say, in the matrix of domination. And so it is a revolutionary act to center the voices, the lived experiences of Black women, and to deem their writings, their bodies, their knowledge transmission, their performance paradigm in their writing as sacred. Full stop. to center, to say that indeed these Black women have the ability. Good morning, Dr. Diana. That these Reverend Doctor, to suggest that these women who have often lived on the margins, but created, Ashe, and as Bell Hooks would say, not only created, but that made radical spaces of openness on these margins, that here in this spiritual gathering, this digital hush harbor, Ashe, we will center the words that Spirit gave to these Black women, for us, for community, for our learning, for our living, Ashe. And so the next text that we are engaging is the work of our very own Dr. Shaniqua Walker Barnes and her book, Too Heavy a Yoke, Black Women and the Burden of Strength. Should be hearts, 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 hearts. And you should go ahead and like and share this, because Dr. Walker Barnes is on right now. And what a beauty. I just want to say also, before we even move forward, I want to say that I do not overlook the fact of relationships and I don't want to use the word capital because it's just tied to commodification. So I want to say relationships. And I want to say that I'm not overlooking the fact that here in this community, when we take on a text, that we have direct access most of the time to the people who have written the text, and that they find it not robbery or see value in joining us, and are honored that the community would delve deeply into their work. And that really, for many of us who are in the academy and in the church, even if we are hanging on by a thread, is why we do the work. Someone told me today or yesterday, I read a text message from someone who said, your work is for the academy, but it's for the streets for real. And then I said, yeah, it's probably because I bring the streets to the academy. So the reason why we do the work is because we realize that there is a gap and there is an absence in the academy that fully expresses the livelihood and the lived experiences, in this case of Black women. We bring you to the academy, and at the same time, we bring the academy to us. And so this is, thank you, Dr. Walker Barnes. It is absolutely our honor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so let's get into it. Ashe, thank you again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is my hope that you've shared this already. Right now, this is something that you absolutely want to share, something that everybody needs to be present for. As again, Dr. Walker Barnes is right here in these comments with us. I want to connect this. I want to enter in by connecting this to our revelation, or for some of us, of the powers of the mothers, Ashe. And you remember, I want to join this conversation with, so that we know that this is not this is not foreign, that we are not sort of jumping from here to here, although we could if we wanted to, because, there's no book of discipline telling us that we can't go where we need to go. Ashe. And so in our work with Dr. Velma Love's text, we talked about the powers of the mothers and recognizing this power that we have access to. And that this power that we have access to helps us in serving the mother. You will have to go back and read, Ashe, all of those texts, so that you can, all of those previous Pink Robe Chronicles, which can be found on the Pink Robe Chronicles Facebook page. And we learned that to serve the mothers, the characteristics of serving the mothers were to lean into one's intuitive faculties, to define oneself and to acknowledge one's own power. I say that to lean into the power of the mothers, if you will. Good morning, Pastor Walker Brown. Good morning, Aretha. That to lean into those faculties, to lean into one's intuitive faculties, meaning to stop questioning whether you're really sensing what you're sensing, right? To acknowledge or see your own power, and then to be able to define yourself. I want to sort of have that as a passageway right on into Dr. Walker Barnes, our sacred text for this morning, which is Too Heavy a Yoke, and for the next couple of weeks, Black Women and the Burden of Strength. Because what sat with me as I was sitting, trying to hear, is that we got that lesson. And the reason why the lesson was so powerful for us on two levels was that, one, we are depleted. And in our depletion, right there, we don't have a well to draw from, right? The well is dry. And so it parched our thirst because the well was simply dry. I started to think, well, why was the well dry? And what becomes clear is what Dr. Walker Barnes gives to us is that the well is dry because we have been carrying around the burden. The yoke, if you will, has been too heavy for many of us to carry. And so per is our custom, for those of you that are just joining, good morning, Professor Dr. David Hooker, Esquire. Good morning, good morning. For those of you who are just joining to the way in which we engage, we take the text right on and we go right into it and begin to read. Good morning, Reverend Anne-Marie Mingo. And we read. And so I want to begin by framing this conversation. Woo, I'm trying to slow down because y'all, this has hit me in so many ways, Dr. Walker Barnes. This thing got all in and up and through me. So the question that Dr. Walker Barnes begins with, she begins with the question in the introduction, in the introduction chapter of the text. Well, she doesn't begin with this question, but this is what she comes to. And the question simply is, when did you learn to be a strong Black woman? Now, brothers, don't hang up. Non-binary, don't hang up, because while she's talking about strong Black women and Black women, this category, this crunched together strong Black women category, can be representative for all, at least in my reading. So don't say, oh, this is a women's conversation. This is a community conversation, because anything that concerns any of us is a community conversation. Part of the issue is that we siphon off into these silos. And while we need these silos oftentimes to talk about what we need to talk about, but conversations like this need to be collective conversations so that the collective can understand when it is participating in being the burden. So that the collective can understand when it is participatory in being the burden. Ashe. So you need to be here. We are a part of this conversation. And so I want to read, if I may, because I know we're going to find ourselves in here. I want to read this text, we're reading her text, but we're reading her, Ashe. 10 years ago, I came to a starting realization. I was a strong Black woman, and being one was not working for me. Having recently crossed the threshold of my 30th birthday, I was in a state of physical and emotional crisis, high blood pressure, weight gain, chronic self-doubt, fear of making mistakes, insomnia, fatigue, headaches, frequent illnesses, low self-esteem, mood swings, and feelings of rage. On top of all of that, I was lonely. Despite listen, I'm going to keep just touching my heart chakra because I need to as I read this. Woo! I was lonely. Despite my constant attempts to do for and please others, I felt alienated, detached, and abandoned. I felt that there was no one whom I could count on, no one who could and would take care of me in the way that I took care of others. I learned to be a strong Black woman early in life. I am the eldest child of a single mother with a brother 8 years my junior, with my mother working long, hard hours to support us, often 12-hour stints on the third shift. I had to step in to help take care of the family. And by the age of 10, I was capable of waking up and getting myself and my brother dressed and fed so that we would be ready when my mother returned home from work to take us to school and daycare. By 14, my after-school routine consisted of taking the city bus to pick up my brother from daycare, helping him with homework and doing my own, supervising while he played outside, cooking dinner, cleaning the kitchen, and getting him bathed and in bed. In child development terms, I was a full-fledged parent child. Over the years, my caretaking tendencies expanded to include everyone around me. Family, friends, co-workers. It was a natural and expected progression. I want you to just take a little something out to write with, and I want you to write caretaking, and I want you to circle it. We're coming back to it. I was constantly concerned with the needs of others, always trying to be helpful. I was so accustomed to taking care of others that I felt pangs of guilt any time that I did something for my own pleasure. Come on in here, Levon Proverbs Bay, who often reminds us about how pleasure is our birthright, and even in her new podcast. Overextending myself became my modus operandi. I was living in a state of serious self-care neglect. Of course, I did not call it neglect. I called it being responsible. Let me just put a, recently, I just want to put a pin here, Dr. Walker Barnes, about not calling it neglect, calling it being responsible. Recently, I identified in my own walk, in my own therapeutic journey, that I, in frustration, screamed out and said, damn, I can't even die right now if I want to. Like, this ain't even, death is not even convenient. Death would not even be a convenient moment for me right now because of all of the balls that are juggling. And what part of the ministry, what part of the call is this? Where is it? Where have we picked up I know where we picked it up in this idea of sacrifice, right? Of sacrificing and giving all and singing songs. You know, my storage is empty and I give myself away. This notion, this idea that we have to be fully empty in order to serve God, and even how that service shifts to everything. But that word responsibility kicks in for me because responsibility is tied to control. And while it is responsibility, it's also tied to my need to control, but not really always recognizing how my need to control is not because I'm bossy, but if I can't control it, and if there's a negative response to something that has happened that is outside of my control, then I have not pleased, I have not delivered, my ego has been wounded, I have not fulfilled the assignment. The burden, Tiffany, the burden is too heavy. So much so that when I ask the question, at what point did we learn to be a strong Black woman? What Dr. Walker Barnes is giving us here is she is sort of laying out for us the context, she is laying out for us a roadmap to be able to see how something as innocent in as necessary as survival can lead us to leaning into the strong black woman. And I'm gonna say what she says, and she's on here, so I know that she will share with us. I'm gonna get to it in a minute, but I'm gonna take my time, right, moving through this, because we absolutely need to be relinquished. This idea of what it means to be responsible, right? And part of this, if not, makes me think of the part one of the womanist definition. What is womanist? Womanish, opposite of frivolous, right? Opposite of not serious, but what it means to be serious, but how that seriousness, the weight of responsibility to survive, to participate in one's upbringing, to pick up slack, creates in us, develops in us, even if you will, develops in us a way that we forget, that we are no longer able to be age appropriate, if you will. I'm a latchkey kid, so reading this, I said, I was opening and closing doors when I was 7. Breakfast was being left on the eye of the stove so that I could eat. By the time I got up, my grandmother and my mother was already at work. And when I came home before them and got dinner started. Friends, and it started making me think, even in this question of when did I learn to become a strong black woman, just before coming down here, I had another epiphany, a revelation, and said, damn it, here I am raising womanish girls, which I stand by, but I got to be sure that I am not creating strong black women. Friend. And there is this notion, this seriousness, that even with the womanist definition, yes, Dr. Walker Barnes, that we cannot be frivolous because our lives depend on it. And while we need this type of intersectional analysis, while we acknowledge and we understand, what we are not unpacking, is why we need to be serious, right? Because life has depended on it. But instead of critiquing why life has depended on it, we take on and take up the responsibility and carry it all on these shoulders. And then, because there is an imbalance, sort of this culture, come on, DigiDeacon, thank you. Because there is this imbalance, if you will, we then see anyway that we are not serious, that we are not responsible, and this is why many of us struggle to engage pleasure. Okay. Ooh, sheesh. Even as my high sense of responsibility began to exert a heavy physical and psychological toll, I persisted. Many times I was so focused on the needs of other people and their situations that I paid very little attention to the symptoms I was experiencing. And when I did not imagine that they were related to the stress. Somebody tagged Dr. Monica Coleman. I want to be sure that she knows we're on. And when I did not imagine that they were related to the stress and role strain that I was experiencing. In my worldview, overactivity was normative. Full stop. Full stop. Did you hear this? In my world, overactivity. Okay, Dr. Monica, I just wanted to make sure. In my world, overactivity was normative. There's not a person on here who this is not hitting. There's not a person on here for whom this It is a part of this capitalistic society, and it is a part of Black women's bodies being commodified. It is a part of us being a part of the exchange of the goods and services. It is a part of the fact that we literally, not figuratively, make the church and society go round. It is a part and parcel that this idea, come on, Nat Bishop, Trisha Hersey Patrick, that this system, this grind culture, this get the bag, this get it in, this I understood the assignment, the ability to grow, to have our own, to move in this way, to move in that way, that we now, the normative idea is that we are overextended all of the time. Do you know it is problematic for our minds not to rest? That even when we don't get the appropriate rest, some of us may lay down and attempt to get 8 hours. Matter of fact, let me pause. I heard Steve Harvey the other day when I was scrolling through Facebook, and this feed came up, and this is what Steve Harvey said, and I wanted to like come through the screen. He said, rich people don't sleep 8 hours. He said, listen, rich people can't afford to sleep 8 hours. He said, because if you sleep 8 hours in LA, it's such and such time, but in New York, it's 9 a.m. and you got to be up. Rich people don't sleep. Rich people get their work done. And then he pulled out this Bible verse, and I said, Steve, what the hell is happening? What is happening in this way in which, be it in the academy, be it in the church, if you're whatever it is that you do, if it's raising a family, if it's being whatever it is that you do now, don't mistake. We've not gotten down to the difference between being strong and a strong Black woman yet. So don't mistake. I'm not suggesting hard work. Hear what Dr. Walker Barnes is pointing to us though, that this idea of overextending oneself becomes normative, that overactivity becomes the normative is what we're critiquing. It was what Black women did. Black women, after all, were strong, proving myself capable of taking care of everything and everyone in my sphere of existence was, I thought, a rite of passage into full Black womanhood. Black women, community. How have we, and I'm really, I want to put myself on the hot seat. Oh my God, these girls are self-sufficient. Let me tell you something, honey. They are doing it. They could cook breakfast. They could cook food. Free got a job, baby. They are around here getting it, okay? I'm so proud of them, Lord. But in what ways is our being proud of future generations tethered to this very problematic, toxic way of living into their humanity as being able to juggle? I'm proud of you because you're able to juggle. So Free just stayed up all night. First of all, she went to work on yesterday. She's 14. So she went to school all week and she wanted a job. So okay, so she only works on Saturdays. So she goes to work on Saturday from 10 to 6, and she wanted to braid her sister's hair. So she came home. She started on Friday evening. She went to work from 10 to 6, came home and started finishing the project that she started on braiding her sister's hair. I told them that they needed to go ahead and go to bed because we were going to go to church later on today as a family. They stayed up all night. She just finished braiding her hair about an hour ago. I told her, you know what? I think you should just go to bed and stay asleep because you've been up. No, I made the commitment and I think that I'm going to go. And listen, Dr. Walker Barnes, I said, friend, no. That's what we're not going to do. Listen, your body is tired. You done stayed up 24 hours. And who did you make the commitment to? Like who, me? Like it. And so there is a way in which already working in her mind that to believe that she could get an accolade from me, that I must see or she must show me that she can stay true to her word. Listen, friends, listen. When did you learn to be a strong Black woman? And if some therapist down 20 years from now asked her that question, she probably would point back to these moments. Honey, it stops today, beginning with me as the model. Dr. Walker Barnes said, then came a breaking point. I am uncertain how long the pain had been there. On the Monday following my 30th birthday, I awoke with a sharp stabbing pain in my right shoulder. I had noticed some pain in a few days before, but with celebrating to do and relatives in town to help me do it, I had ignored it. It could not be ignored any longer. It hurt to breathe. I called the clinic that I had visited once and begged them to fit me in. And they said that there was no diagnosis, go home, take some Tylenol. A few weeks later, Dr. Walker Barnes shares a story about how her and her spouse had decided that they would have a very small, an alternative Thanksgiving, that they were going to go spend Thanksgiving at a bed and breakfast. And then they were persuaded by family who said, no, we want to celebrate Thanksgiving with you all in your new home in North Carolina. We want to be with you all, so go ahead and host it. And so then instead of following their first minds and following what they wanted to do, they conceded to family. And they went out, according to Dr. Walker Barnes, and they spent hundreds of dollars. You know how we do when we say we're hosting, we going out here buying stuff, child, buying the little pumpkins, and doing too much, right? We buying extra this, extra that. And so her and her spouse spend all of these funds, extend all of this energy, only for, out of the 20 or so that said they were coming to Thanksgiving, only for 2 of them to show up. Yes, Dr. Walker Barnes. Listen to this point. She says, we became enslaved to the commitments we created. Woo! Hey, y'all. Oh, ouch. If you cannot say ouch, say ouch. My goodness today. Can I say a little bit about that? I want to tag on to that. This, becoming enslaved to the commitments becoming enslaved to the commitments we created. I've created several commitments. And one of them has been lingering, and it was to write something that I really want to write and that I really wanted to write. But so much stuff was coming at one time. You all know, you've been with me. You've been praying for me. My father's traumatic brain injury happened. My fourth year dossier was due, book contract, all kinds of things. And it was just and teaching, let's not forget, and teaching after having been on sabbatical for a year. And it just was, I could feel the tightness. I could just feel myself sort of drifting and couldn't figure out how to get back on track. Not that I'm fully on track, but I just was like, this is just not it. And this week I was sick, so much to the point that I thought maybe I had COVID. So I went to get my first COVID test ever. In the entire pandemic, this was my first COVID test. This is how bad I felt. I got the rapid test and it said, no, it's negative. But I was like, Lynn, let me get the PCR because I feel really, really bad. And the PCR was negative. And then I recognized that it was my body that was really, just shutting down and not responding, because I had stayed up like for 72 hours almost. And when we do things like, I got it done, I did what it needed to be done, I got it in, I ain't bathed for 3 days, but I got it in. I even canceled class so that I can just kind of get my mind together. And so I got a phone call on, this must have been Tuesday. I got a phone call on Tuesday, and it was a colleague and sister friend for whom I would be writing for. And I picked up the phone and she said, I didn't expect you to pick up the phone. And I said, why wouldn't I pick up the phone for you? She said, well, I just know that you're really busy and, I didn't pick up the phone. I said, well, I needed to talk to you anyway. And she said, okay. And so she listened. And so I said, so this is where I'm struggling with the article, like this. And I did have like 2,000 words and only needed to get to 3,500. Listen, only needed to get to 3,500, but I had like 2,000 and some change. But they were just like these paragraphs. They weren't like knit together or anything. Anyway, to bring this part to the close, because what I'm trying to lift up is these being enslaved to the commitments we create. She said to me, Melva, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to focus on this right here. Okay. She said, because it's another opportunity coming, and this is what you really need to focus on, right? Something that I shared. You need to focus on this, get this done, because this opportunity is coming. Y'all, there was my release right there. My release was right there. My emancipation from this project had come. But no, child, I'm still over here trying to negotiate how I can get this done. Negotiate how I can make this happen. Negotiate. So when is the deadline? It's Tuesday. Well, the deadline is Friday. Well, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I stay up, literally, y'all, literally in my mind, I'm up here thinking like, okay, so if I just stay up and then I could probably do this. And then finally, I heard Spirit loud and clear. Can I just be real with y'all? This is going to offend some of y'all, but I mean, I felt like Spirit was like, bitch, here's your way out. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And so I said to Spirit, I said, okay. And I said to my colleague and friend, I said, you know what? I'm going to take this way of escape, and I'm going to receive these freedom papers, and I am going to honor the wisdom that you've given me. Wow. And the truth of the matter, y'all, is that when I thought more carefully around why I was still trying to negotiate it, I was still trying to negotiate it, Mia, because I did not want to look like a failure. Dr. Shaniqua, I did not want to look like a failure in her eyes. I did not want to let her down. I did not want to look like a failure in the guild's eyes, in the discipline's eyes. I did not want to lose, and somehow equating not finishing this one assignment with loss. And can I help you with something else? This overcommitment and this overextension as normative, even though systems operate like that, and they operate like that, and as a result, we operate like that to be able to flourish in these systems. But I really wish that some would rise up enough to the point to say this is not helpful. And let me tell you why it's not helpful. Particularly, this was helpful and serves patriarchy. This model serves white men, straight white men, and maybe some gay ones too, but straight white men, a particular model that comes out of 50s, 60s, and who have leave it to beaver kind of style lifestyles, whose wives are homemakers, which is a job all by itself, who have the support of doing laundry, and who have the support of keeping the house and managing the home and managing finances and managing this, that, and the third. It is not set up. It is not set up, if you will, for folk who do not live within that structure. Yeah. It's simply not. And so this idea of doing more will get you more, only to get more and realize that there's always more to get. And so then we are always struggling, right? This is why we're always grasping, and we can't fully understand the theology of sufficiency. The theology of sufficiency, which tells us that the earth is God's and everything in it belongs to God, that there is enough for everybody. But due to our socioeconomic stations in life, even if you are middle, upper middle, I don't know how to explain. There's a layer, right? The socio part of the economic status, right? Contends that there are ways that we have to show up that others do not. And as a result, Ronnie Galvin, as a result, we find ourselves so overextended that even when we want to present something that's quality, come on in here, Holy Ghost, even when we want to present something that is quality, we are so depleted because we keep being enslaved to the commitments we create. But the only way to be emancipated from those commitments are, one, to listen to Spirit, but then two is to tear it down, tear the whole system down. So how then we allow the desire of others to trump our own needs? And this is really deep, right? Because how do you tell a parent, per Dr. Walker Barnes, how do you tell a parent, I don't want to be no latchkey kid. I don't want to do that. I don't want to take care of my siblings. How you do that? So this is going to be at least 4 weeks, because it's 9 o'clock and we've not even gotten to what the strong Black woman is. Or at least let me do that before we go, so we could do our reading and we can come back with it, because I'm just like this right now. It's so many jewels, so many. Dr. Walker Barnes says, my use of the phrase strong Black woman, so just no spaces, just strong Black woman, with the spaces omitted between the words, is intentional. The literary scrunching is meant to emphasize the distinction between being a Black woman who is strong and being a strong Black woman. It's important that you hear this distinction, okay? There are strong women and men and non-binary in all racial and ethnic groups, individuals who possess a multiplicity of spiritual, emotional, and or physical fortitudes that sustain them through periods of crisis, through journeys of struggle. This type of strength is not associated with any particular personality type, but instead exists as a component of varied and multi-layered personalities, a component that may be visible until a need for manifestation arises, okay? That's what being strong is, okay? You get that? That's the delineation of what strong is, okay? The strong Black woman, in contrast, okay? The strong Black woman, in contrast, is a particular and fixed way of being in the world. It is a racialized gender performance, a scripted role in which Black women are socialized, usually beginning in childhood. Listen. And it shows up in 3 very specific ways. 1, as emotional strength and regulation. 2, caregiving. 3, independence. On next Sunday, we're dealing with emotional strategy and regulation. It's in chapter 1. I'm not even going to touch it right now because we need another hour to unpack that, because I saw myself in that emotional strategy and regulation. And so again, let me travel down right quick to page 14, because just in case some of you, I need my book to come in because this thing won't let me change pages. Okay, hold on. I want to read something to you. 1 second. Dr. Walker Barnes, I just want to say thank you. Just thank you for this work. And okay, here we go. It's loading. Just say strong Black woman, and nearly everyone who has significant relationships with Black women has some idea of what you're talking about. Indeed, the word strong is such a frequent descriptor of Black women that it could be argued that the term strong Black woman is virtually redundant. It is certainly the case that an individual can be strong Black and a woman without being the strong Black woman. Yet, the societal pressure to be strong is so intense for Black women that many, if not most, embody at least some aspect of strong Black woman at some point in their lives. Black women are expected to be strong, and conversations about them as individuals or as collective routinely invoke the notion of their strength. It is not uncommon, for example, to hear stories like this, and I'm going to read this story real quick. No one knows how Miss Martha does it. She lost her husband and only child in the same year. The day after her husband's funeral, she came to church. We weren't expecting to see her in worship that day, but there she was, singing in the choir and praising God. Then that same year, her son was in a car accident that left him comatose. When she went to see him just before leaving his side, she kissed him on the forehead and said, "If you're not here when I get back, I'll see you on the other side." He passed away a few hours later, but Miss Martha never missed a beat. She shows up every Sunday with a smile on her face. No one has ever seen her cry. She didn't even cry at either of their funerals. What an incredibly strong woman of faith. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to leave us with that story. Join me, join us. We're not on the mountaintop yet. We're not shouting down from this mountaintop. We're not happy dancing. We're feeling all of the discomfort, all of the awareness. Next Sunday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Melva Sampson, Facebook Live. We'll also be sharing it on the Facebook Pink Robe Chronicles Facebook page. In event that there is another, that there is another in event that there is another Facebook debacle, IG, can't reach us, can't something, I need you right now to go to my website and subscribe. Soon as you click on the website, if you've already subscribed, you don't need to do it again. But soon as you click on the website, the subscription box will come up. Go ahead and subscribe. If it doesn't immediately come up, you can go to the top tab down where it says contact and let that drop down, and you'll see subscribe there. Subscribe so that I can have your email, because we'll just, we'll grab on Zoom. All of us will gather on Zoom because we won't let this stop us, and we need to be making other spaces anyway, right? But for right now, plan to meet me here, and I invite you to go to the Pink Robe Chronicles Facebook page to look at all of the Pink Robe Chronicles that you may have missed, particularly in the last month when we did Divining of the Self. Also, you can catch us on YouTube. I need to update the upload more recent videos, but there are a cadre of videos over there on YouTube under the same name, Pink Robe Chronicles. This is absolutely what our collective needs, especially as we are moving into this busy season, and to the season for which capitalism gains the most, the season that brings most stress upon us, many of us, the season that is challenging. And what we want to be clear of is how we are operating, how we are not, Dr. Walker Barnes, let me write this down before I forget, how we are not enslaved, Ronnie Galvin, to the commitments we create. Shit, that's good. Woo! How we are not enslaved to the commitments that we create. My goodness, today. And then how we are also not enslaved to the commitments that this empire creates. And that requires then for us to get free enough, right, to come from underneath this yoke, because the burden is too high, so that we can actually engage and hear, come on, Dr. Velma Love, hear the call of the mothers. Remember, in Divining the Self, what we acknowledge is that the mothers are calling, but we too busy listening to the fathers, Ashe. To understand that analogy, you would have to go back and read chapter chapter 5, Power of the Mothers of Dr. Velma Love's Divining the Self, or go back and watch, I think it might be part 1 or part 2 of Pink Robe Chronicles, Divining the Self. Listen. Absolutely, Dr. Monica. Absolutely. Well, she is absolutely. But she's saying we also have to learn and teach how to break commitments with integrity. Ashe. Absolutely. 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 1000%. 1000%. Agreed. So I want to just thank you all for being present. I invite you, those of you who regularly ask to support, you can support me and Pink Chronicles this way. I invite you to share. Our Venmo is here, and I thank you in advance for sharing with us in that way. I also, you can share with us via PayPal, Pink Robe Chronicles. You can share with us also through Zelle, which I'm sharing that with you right now. I do not use Cash App. I know that it may be inconvenient for some, but listen, you only have to allow money to be taken out of my Cash App once and not have me able to talk to a real person as to how to rectify the situation for me to realize that this ain't it for me, and I don't care how convenient it is. I just can't, no. So these are the giving platforms we use. I invite you again, you can choose Pink Robe Chronicles PayPal, you can choose Venmo, or you can choose Zelle, and I have put the email for Zelle right there in the comments. Thank you all so much. Thank you again. Come on, let's show some hearts, give some love, some claps, some fire emojis for the work of Dr. Shaniqua Walker Barnes, Too Heavy a Yoke, that we will be engaging in for the next 4 weeks, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right, Ronnie Galvin? 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have not subscribed to my website, please go and subscribe, Ashe, so that in the event there is anything going down, honey, we have our literal digital hush harbor to steal away from. So again, have a great day. Go and really consider that question. When did you learn to be a strong Black woman? And write it out. If you have the ability, write it out, talk it out, do a voice note, color it out, feel it, and ask yourself where you feel that most, right? And it's not a judgment. And as you are identifying, don't judge yourself, right? Don't judge when that happened for you, right? Don't judge the situation. Just simply feel it, hear it, write it out. Also, I'm sorry, one more thing. Pink Robe Chronicles is a beautiful community. It is a beautiful space. It should not suffice, though, for actual therapeutic journeys. Ashe. I encourage each of you for whom this is necessary. I encourage each of you, not necessary. A text came in at the same time and said necessary. Sorry. I encourage each of you to, for whom this may bring up some things for you, to call in your care team, your therapeutic care team, your clinical care team. I invite you to come and to do that and to make sure that they are journeying with you as you are moving in this way. Ashe. So again, while this may open up some things, certainly this should not suffice. I want to say it again. This should not suffice. This does not suffice. This does not take the place of some very deep healing work that can happen in a clinical space that's necessary. And we are certainly here to support you, Ashe. And there are those here on the line also who could probably give you good referrals. And so until we meet again, friends, I'll see y'all next Sunday. May the Spirit bless you real good. Peace.